Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. Welcome in. Happy Friday. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson, and our show, Eye on the Valley, is brought to you, as I said, by SCVi and iLead Schools. We are a network of charter schools with campuses in Castaic, Agua Dulce, Lancaster. We've got a fully accredited online school. We've got a home study program. It's actually called Independent Study. We're going to get into that a little bit later on today. It is called iLead Exploration. I tell you what, pour yourself a second cup of coffee, head on over to iLeadschools.org and tune in for a little bit. So yeah, that's iLeadschools.org for more information on any of our schools, whether they're virtual, hybrid, classroom-based. We've got everything for your child's educational needs. And we've also got our eye on education in Santa Clarita and across the nation. But like the show says, we also like to keep our eye on the Valley as well, bringing you everything that you need to know about what's what here in the Valley. And we always take a little bit of time to goof around a little bit, play a little bit, because I like to say if you're not laughing while you're doing it, you probably shouldn't be doing it, right? So yeah, lean back and let's get this Friday morning off to a start. It is a beautiful day in the Valley here. Absolutely gorgeous out. We've got an amazing show for you. There are a lot of incredible people here in the Valley. A lot of inspiring people that live here in Santa Clarita. But today, it's all about the man and the woman. You may have been seeing teasers on social media like I have over the past couple of weeks. But we are in the Man and Woman of the Year season. We've got former honorary Gloria Mercardo-Fortine joining us in just a moment to talk about this year's nominees and how you can get involved. And then in hour number 2, we'll be talking with a few of the teachers from iLead Exploration. That's the homeschooling division that I was talking about just a minute ago. But they do so much more than home study, as you will find out today, as we talk with our high school Engage team. This is a home study completely reimagined. The way they're delivering independent study education is just absolutely incredible. Our team is so dynamic, you won't want to miss that conversation. Because if you're thinking, study from home, I don't think I could ever do that. Trust me, yes, you can. We've had lots of families say the same, and a few months later come and tell us how much they're enjoying it, how much their kid is learning and growing. So yeah, and then we'll wrap the show like we always do with Big T. That's my big brother. Mom makes me share my radio show with my big brother because I'm not allowed to have nice things of my own. So we never know what he's gonna bring when he comes in, but it is always fun, that is for sure. And then we've got some quirks in the news for you today. I don't know how many of you are following the news too closely. It can be kind of depressing, but every now and then you look up from your coffee and you think, what did they just say? Well, we've got a couple of those stories for you a little bit later on this hour that you might enjoy. So, yeah. So every week here on Eye on the Valley, we interview some pretty amazing folks, from business owners to civic leaders to philanthropists and other people who make a huge impact in our community. And we're so blessed to have such a rich resource of humans here in Santa Clarita. But who would you say is kind of the quintessential citizen of our valley that would that would be really, really hard to choose just one person, wouldn't it? Well, my first guest today is part of a committee that does just that every year. Gloria Mercardo-Fortine is a member of this exclusive club. She's also president and CEO of Global Education Solutions, Inc., an educational leadership consultancy. During her 37-year career in education, she's served as a teacher, counselor, principal, assistant superintendent, and superintendent and president in a large urban school districts. Gloria served 4 terms, that's 16 years, as a publicly elected official on the governing board of the William S. Hart High School District. Prior to that, she served 10 years on the Castaic Union Elementary School District Governing Board. She's got so many other accolades. I'm looking at her resume here, and so many good works on her resume that we just don't have time to get into all of them. But I'm sure that's probably a big part of the reason that she was honored as 2018's Santa Clarita Valley Woman of the Year. Gloria Mercardo-Fortine, welcome to Island in the Valley.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me.
So glad to have you, and thank you for coming in and representing this list of amazing people in our valley. Let's get right to it. So for those folks that may be unfamiliar, can you explain kind of what the core mission is of the Santa Clarita Valley Man and Woman of the Year program. This isn't just a bunch of people standing around the Hyatt slapping each other on the back, is it? This is a really important program to highlight. So what's the purpose of this program?
Yes, well, the purpose of the Man and Woman of the Year organization, and it is a 501c3 charitable organization, so everyone needs to know that. But it is to honor our wonderful volunteers in this valley, in the Santa Clarita Valley. And, our valley and our city is wonderful because of volunteers.
Yeah.
And so we want to support and recognize those volunteers who do so much good work. And so many times they go unacknowledged.
Right.
So, but they plug away because they know what to do and they have a go-do attitude. And but that is why our valley is so great because of these volunteers. So we want to acknowledge that. And then we also we acknowledge all nominees, but then from that group, we also vote to select the Man and Woman of the Year. So, but it is always a very difficult, very, very difficult decision.
I can imagine, and I'm looking at this year's list and thinking, y'all have got your work cut out for you this year. You've got an amazing list. We'll get to that in just a little bit. So let's talk about the process. So when you sit down and, you've got hundreds of people across the valley giving thousands of hours every year to all the different local nonprofits and causes and things like that. It can be difficult for an organization to just select their nominee, but then for your committee, it must be so hard. What's the process? How do you sit down and determine from all these worthy folks who will eventually be the Man of the Year, the Woman of the Year?
Yes, it is difficult. But first of all, we put out the word because we have so many nonprofits here. I mean, there are over 100 nonprofits
Sure.
In our valley, and so we put out the word to nominate their extraordinary Man and Woman of the Year, and so that process entails the nonprofit to submit an application and telling us why their nominee is so extraordinary and what they have done. But the criteria really, as we look at it, and the selection is done by all past men and women honorees. So it is that special group that evaluate and do the voting. And the voting, the criteria is based on the number of years this individual has given as an hours as a volunteer, the impact that they have made on that organization or organizations.
Okay.
So so it's really the blood, sweat, type of experience that they have had, so that's the criteria that we look at, and it is very difficult because, as I said, there are wonderful volunteers out there, but the voting is done, and it is a secret. It is done by the past Men and Women of the Year, and it is a secret ballot. Nobody knows, even now, the men and women who vote on it will not know.
Oh.
So only there are certain, 3 people that will count, and then so it's held. It is a secret up till the evening of the dinner.
And then it's a big and exciting reveal. I love
Yes.
that it's the past honorees that vote, because those are the folks that really understand, that really know what this person should be and what a worthy nominee would look like. You touched on it a little bit before, but this is really a big to-do in our community. Why is it so important to recognize volunteerism? Because you mentioned so many of our folks volunteer and aren't looking for the spotlight. They're not out there saying, hey, look at me, I'm doing good things. They're
That's
doing it
right.
because they're supporting organizations that they believe are worthy causes that are serving a valuable need in our community. So why is it important to recognize volunteerism in our community this way?
Uh, it's so important because, things just don't happen. Um, we want to acknowledge these people who have that, I want to do something, I have a dream, I want to get it done, and I want to do it because it is good for the community. And so we need to support that. We need to
Certainly.
support that attitude. Like, get out here, make this community better. You have ideas, you want to support organizations, nonprofits, um, because that is what makes Santa Clarita such a wonderful place to live, is you have all these people who want to improve, want to improve things, want to make things better. And that's the spirit that we want to support.
Absolutely. And I know that this program has had quite an impact on myself, but what impact do you think that the Santa Clarita Man and Woman of the Year program has on our community? How does it inspire folks? What impact does this
Well,
have?
I think our Man and Woman of the Year inspires, and I've heard it from people. It inspires people. Um, it's always nice to be recognized. You may not want it, you may not want the spotlight, but it is nice to be recognized. But more than that, too, they want their nonprofit organization to be recognized.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
they want the nonprofit to be supported, and this is a good way to get the word out about your nonprofit and the work that they do. We have so many people here in this valley, over 300,000, really,
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
look beyond the city, and a lot of people don't know what are the services, what are the resources. They want to know about nonprofits, and maybe they want to get involved. So, but what better way than to get that word out? By doing this, by acknowledging the organizations and their volunteers.
You're absolutely right. And so many of these folks that get nominated every year, for years, they will say, no, 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 please don't nominate me. Please
Yes, they
don't.
do.
But when they finally do realize, no, this isn't about you, it's about shining the light on the nonprofit,
right.
shining the light on the organization that you love and support, oftentimes that will.
And in addition to that, the Man and Woman organization also presents, it has been for the last few years, $3,000 to the nonprofit organizations that nominated the Man and Woman of the Year.
That I did not know. So this is another way for that volunteer to serve their nonprofit.
Exactly.
Well, that's great. Talk about a win-win. Wow. So this has got to have just a tremendous impact on that kind of community spirit. What have you seen over the years in your involvement with the Man and Woman of the Year program, the impact that it's had on our community spirit?
Well, I'll tell you, I think nonprofit organizations have gotten more inquiries, and they have gotten more volunteers through this because, as I said, we highlight all of those organizations.
Sure.
And people say, well, this is the first time I've heard of that organization. I'm interested in volunteering. So I think that's a great impact.
Absolutely. And I know, like I said, sitting at those dinners and listening to the all the different things that the different nominees over the years are doing. It's like you said, oftentimes not someone who's giving to just one organization, but multiple organizations. And you're sitting there eating dinner, listening, and thinking, "Gosh, I'm not doing enough to help my community out. I got to get more involved. I've got to get more active." So yeah, this is really, really important, very impactful, and kind of cyclical, right? It's others, volunteers encouraging others to do great things in the community. So Gloria Mercado-Fortine, educational leader, community volunteer, and 2018 Santa Clarita Valley Woman of the Year, joins me this morning. When we get back, we're going to take a look at the history of the Santa Clarita Valley Man and Woman of the Year program, and we're going to find out exactly who is nominated for this great honor this year. Stick around, see if your name's on the list. I am Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. And joining me this morning is Gloria Mercardo-Fortine, former teacher, principal, superintendent, and school board member. She is also the 2018 Santa Clarita Valley Woman of the Year. In 2018, you stood out above them all and were honored for your service, your volunteerism. What an incredible honor. And we're talking about the folks who are nominated for that same honor here in 2025. Gloria, this program, I was looking at your website, has such a rich history. Can you share a little bit about how and why the program got started originally and how it's grown over the years?
Yes, actually, it started where we were just a little town, right? For those of us who grew up
dusty
here,
little town,
dusty
yeah.
little town. But it was started by the Newhall Saugus Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
At that time, it was just little towns, around, and so the first, and this was a project to program to acknowledge the Citizen of the Year, as it was called.
Okay.
And for its time, right, way back, it was a male-dominated organization, and so they only had males. And so the first male was A.B. Perkins. I think people know him as our first historian, if you will,
Yes.
of this valley, and he did tremendous work. So that went on. He was the first one in 1964, and then it wasn't until later on that that women, the first woman was selected, and that was in 1971, and so that was a big thing, right?
Yeah.
For women. So Olive Ruby and was our first woman. So in the early 80s, the chamber, by then, our valley was growing. There were a lot of development, a lot of businesses moving in, and so the chamber decided to go a different direction.
Okay.
So they dropped that program, but the past men and women honorees, alumni, decided, no, we're going to take it on. And so forming the organization, Man and Woman, SCV Man and Woman of the Year. So since then, obviously, we have honored both a man and a woman. So it's been it's been a long history, and there's only, during COVID we didn't do it for 2 years, during COVID.
Sure.
But otherwise, it's been something that we have done annually, and the Man and Woman of the Year organization has just gotten stronger and stronger, and we have grown and grown in terms of organizations nominating their volunteers.
Sure. Yeah, I'm looking at the past honorees on the website, and A.B. Perkins was Man of the Year in '64, like you said, and Olive Ruby in 1971. They switched from Man of the Year to Woman of the Year, and then the following year, that's when you get both a Man and Woman of the Year. Ever since then, I think that's absolutely beautiful. When the chamber kind of stepped away from this, the past honorees said, no, this is a legacy that needs to continue on. And I want to dive into that a little bit, because that kind of demonstrates what an amazing honor this is, and those past honorees saying, no, this meant so much to me, to my organization, that we've got to continue this on. So, and that's kind of why we have you, Gloria, here on the show, because it's you and your, what do you call them, colleagues, fraternity and sorority members that make up this committee. That must have been a huge honor to you. What's it meant to you to be Woman of the Year?
Well, it's just wonderful. I mean, I cannot say enough. I was so honored. I mean, and I have volunteered ever since I was, a kid.
Okay.
right? Having grown up here. So it wasn't anything that you were really seeking. And I was nominated quite a few times.
Oh, okay.
But it does mean a lot to me. It validates the importance of volunteerism. And for me, my life has always been a public service,
Sure.
So it meant a lot, and I put you get a license plate that says Woman of the Year with your year on it, and I put it on my car, and I love driving around with it. So
Oh, yeah.
it is fantastic. But I have to also say that your mother was 2013 Woman of the Year, Elizabeth
true.
Hopp.
Yes.
So she is in this club.
She is, and I can't tell you how proud we were of Mom, and super excited when she was nominated and honored. And she's got that license plate frame around her license plate as well, even now 12 years later. And it's funny, I love going to restaurants or somewhere in the community, and you'll see sometimes 2 or 3 of these honorees parked next to each other. You can see
Exactly. And if you take a look at that list, I mean, these are the people that built this community.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether William Bonelli, if you can see that, Ed Bolden, Samuel Dixon, Bobby Trueblood. I mean, these Connie Wharton Roberts, Judge McDougall, John Fuller. I mean, the list goes on and on. That's why it's so important to keep this going.
Yeah.
Because these are the people who really built our community.
And our community wasn't built by accident.
No.
So you're absolutely right. It's important to continue this legacy on and continue to foster this type of leadership and service in our community. So you mentioned that you were volunteering from a very early age. What inspired you to get involved in your community, Gloria?
I think my parents had a lot to do with it, because they felt that we needed to we needed to give back to the community. We needed to do, and they saw that as good things. Get involved. So obviously, Brownies, Girl Scouts, you start there.
Sure,
and
yeah.
then in school, whenever there was anything going on, it was like, let's volunteer to do it. So it was kind of ingrained in me growing up that it is important to give back. It is important to help others.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Volunteering is obviously a lot of work. It's very self-rewarding, but being an honoree who's involved in not only just voting for who's going to be the next man or woman of the year, but you're also involved in the planning, the organization, the promotion of this event. That's a lot of work in and of itself as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that could be a full-time job, aside from my job.
Sure.
Yes, but, we have such committed past men and women of the year who serve on the committee. So we put it on and everybody is very committed to making sure it is successful.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And again, that speaks to how past honorees recognize how important this is to continue on. Okay, I feel like we've been teasing it a little bit, Gloria. I'm sure folks have been wondering, okay, but who are the nominees this year? Can you share with us the list of nominees and the different organizations that have nominated them?
I would be happy to.
All right.
And this year we have 33 nominees.
Okay.
We have 21 women.
All right.
And 12 men. Okay, so the men are falling behind a little.
What?
We need to.
Point taken.
Okay.
Andrew and I will get out there right after the show, and we will get to work. Gosh, come on, guys, we need to step up.
So let's start with the men. We have Dennis Werner from Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, yeah.
Ron Van Vooris from Exclusively First Responders. Albert Rodriguez from the Santa Clarita Veteran Services Collaborative. Josh Rivas from Seroptimus International of Greater Santa Clarita Valley. John Murray II from Carousel Ranch. Nick Mitchell from Henry Mayo Newhall Hospital. We have Paul Lowell from Samuel Dixon Family Health Center. Robert Lasher, Santa Clarita Valley Food Pantry. Michael Harrell from the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society.
Okay.
Scott Houlihan from Rotary Club of Santa Clarita.
Yes.
Alex Hafizi from is being nominated by the Wish Foundation, Circle of Hope, and JCI Santa Clarita Foundation.
Wow, triple nomination.
Triple. And then Jason Gibbs from the Salvation Army of Santa Clarita.
All right.
So go men.
Yeah, we got a dozen very worthy men there.
Very
Couldn't go
worthy.
wrong with any of those.
Very worthy.
All
And
right.
for the Women of the Year,
All right, take a deep breath. You've got 21 names
yes,
here.
21. So we have Chrissy Ball from the Rotary Club,
Okay.
Missy Carter, Carousel Ranch,
Yeah.
Teresa Ciardi from Phi Delta, Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society,
Okay.
Dorinda Evanoff from Assistance League.
Okay.
We have Michelle Ewan from the Salvation Army, Holly Handlin from the Henry Mayo Newhall Hospital Foundation, Jackie Hartman from the Senior Centers, Debbie Holbrook from JCI Santa Clarita Foundation, Patricia Horenberg from the Historical Society, Laura Kirshoff from Samuel Dixon Family Health Center, and Seroptimus International of Greater Santa Clarita Valley. Allison Lindman from Circle of Hope, Shannon Mee from College of the Canyons Foundation, Nicole Miller from Zonta Club of Santa Clarita,
Okay.
Jen Menard from American Cancer Society, Corey Peterson from Seroptimus International in Valencia, Lynn Plambach from Scope, Jordan Roberts from Sadie Mae and Maddie Mae's Revolution All Animal Rescue,
Okay.
and Maria Slovsev from the Wish Education Foundation, Linda Teeter from Fostering Youth Independence, Susan Torres from Santa Clarita Food Pantry, and Pamela Werner from Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, okay.
So that is a great list of nominees.
It is a great list.
And I'm sure everybody knows them because they are out and
Yeah.
about helping.
Definitely. I noticed that there's a married couple that's nominated, Pam and Dennis Werner.
Yes.
Has it ever happened in your history that a married couple has won Man and Woman of the Year? I know, for example, our station co-hosts Carl and Jerry Cerati Goldman have both won, but on different years.
Different years. But the same year, we had the Flemings. So Dawn and Sherry Fleming. So which
I think that was back in 2004.
2004.
Yeah.
And yes, 2004. That's right. Dawn and Sherry were Man and Women of the Year.
Yeah, and I'm looking here. There are a couple of couples who have won the honor, but in different years. But only Dawn and Sherry to have won the honor in the same year.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So so what happens from here, Gloria? So we've got our nominees now. A tremendous honor just to be nominated, as everyone always says, and it really is. But where do we go from
So
here? When is the
here's-
gala event? And then I think you've got an event or two between now and then.
Yeah, so we do for the nominees and past honorees, the organization rep the nominee and their guests. We will have a private, what we call a paparazzi party.
Oh, fun.
And so we hold it over at the Canyon Theater Guild, and we thank Tim Ben and their board for letting us use their venue. So we do a cocktail hour, but also this is an opportunity for the past men and women of the year to hear a little bit about each nominee. So we take it seriously. We just
Okay.
don't read an application. We actually want to meet them, and we want to hear from them directly from the organization. And so it is really nice.
Okay, so that's
So-
going to be part of the voting process
That
that'll feed
is
into
part
it
of the
as well.
voting process. And so then we prepare for the big gala event, which is May the 2nd
Okay.
at the Hyatt Regency Valencia.
Okay.
And that starts at 5:30, and we start with a nice cocktail hour, and that is to, again, acknowledge every nominee, because every nominee is a winner.
Yes.
You know, and I say that with all sincerity, because the process is so difficult that it is so close every time.
Yes.
so any one of them could be winners.
Sure.
And but there's only one, and it
Yep.
could be by just one vote, but
Yeah.
there's only one of each, right? So so we do a big dinner, and we acknowledge all the nominees, and then we make the announcement. Once that announcement is made, it's a great celebration.
Yeah.
And then those nominees, there are perks. Not only do they get the money to give to their organizations, right, that nominated them, but they're also highlighted in the 4th of July parade. I mean,
Sure.
they get to write down the parade route. They
Yeah.
get their license frame.
Yeah.
They do interviews. It's a whole year of fun
Sure.
for them. But here's the thing that everybody needs to know is that then these two
Yep.
have to work on this event.
Yes.
They have to work on these events and lead some of those events. So there's a little work
Yeah.
involved.
And they chair the event the following year, right?
Yes, they'll chair it along with the president, and
Okay.
they're the MCs for the paparazzi, and they'll be the
I see.
MCs for the gala, and so they get to make, they have to make decisions. So, but it's nothing new to these volunteers because they're used to making decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be hosted this year by last year's
Yes.
honorees, Kim Karowski and Dale
And
Donahoe.
Dale Donahoe,
And
yes.
and I do remember in 2014, the year after my mom won it, I think her most popular phrase that year was, "Oh my gosh, I have to do what?"
Yes.
So it is a lot of work, but again, it's something that that brings such joy because it's propagating such an amazing service to our community.
It really is. It is.
Okay, so the gala event and the big reveal is going to be on May 2nd, starting at 5:30. So a couple months away. Have tickets gone on sale yet?
So tickets will go on sale very soon, the first part of March.
Okay.
So we always ask for sponsorships, and we're just delighted that the city of Santa Clarita has really taken it on and supports it as they should, because it is a city, right?
Sure.
And the county of Los Angeles, because when we talk about the Santa Clarita Valley, we're talking about the city and unincorporated areas.
Right.
Castaic, Stevenson Ranch, Val Verde, all
Certainly.
of anything that is unincorporated, and of course within our city.
Mm-hmm.
So we're we're always seeking sponsorships. We have so we'll sell tables. Individual tickets go for $150, but we encourage nonprofits to buy tables to support their nominees. So we have tables, but people can also put congratulatory ads in the program.
Yes.
And so you can do that, and so whatever price range you're looking for, we have it. But it is wonderful when the entire community can support this event, and obviously support, because the as you know, the proceeds do go back to the nonprofits that nominated the two winners.
Such an amazing event. Now, Gloria, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but I do want to ask, you mentioned some years the voting can be very, very close. I don't want you to mention names or years, but in your 6 years in being part of the organization, has there ever been a tie that you've had to work out?
Oh, sure. We do have a process for
Okay.
that. Okay, we do have a process because there are rounds and rounds
I see.
and rounds.
Okay, so
of
you whittle it down.
voting.
I get it.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There is a process. We have somebody who oversees that process.
All right.
There's no, any challenges. I mean, it is a serious
Okay.
process that we implement. So yes, we would do that.
Whittle
yes.
it down to make sure that you get one winner, man and woman, each year.
And may I add too, if anybody wants more information, they can, and you may
Please.
have mentioned it, they can go to www.SCV man woman. There's no and.
Okay.
Man woman of the year .org.
Okay.
Okay.
SCVmanwomanoftheyear.org for more information. That's the website I've been on looking at all
Perfect.
these. And it's a great website because not only can you see a list and a photo of previous honorees, but in a lot of cases, y'all have posted the videos that it's a
Yes.
3-4 minute video that honors past honorees. I may have been on
and
there.
we have lost so many.
Yeah,
but
we
and
have,
it's
yeah.
and it's and we always want to keep acknowledging the work that they did for our valley. So yes.
Certainly. So yeah, great website to just peruse and see really the generations of men and women that have helped make our community what it is,
Right.
and then get involved and buy a ticket, buy a table, sponsor, buy an
Yes,
ad for the event
that's
on May
May
2nd. You
2nd,
said.
May 2nd
All right.
at the Hyatt. And as now that we have finalized this list,
Mm-hmm.
then all the new nominees will go on there with their photo and a little bit about telling a little bit about their bio, right? Their
Yeah.
bio will be on there. So that'll be exciting. And as we get sponsors, they go onto the website as well.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you very much, Gloria, for joining us. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate everything that you've done and continue to do to give back to our community. Thanks for sharing the list with us. Congratulations to everyone nominated. A couple, almost 36 people nominated this year, and it's a very exciting event. So, and congratulations to all of them. Good luck to all of them.
Yes.
And one more time, Gloria, thank you for joining us. You have a great weekend.
You too. Thank
Good
you.
to see you. I'm Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. We'll be right back on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we debuted a new segment called News That Nobody Cares About. And so I went into the wire, and I was looking for some more stories like that. I figured we'd continue the segment this week. But I noticed not a whole lot of stories out there on the wire today that would be considered news that nobody cares about. In fact, if you're listening to the news at the top of the hour or reading your newspaper, do they still make newspaper? They still print newspapers.
I think they do.
There's a lot of heart-wrenching news that can inspire you, frustrate you. Not a whole lot of stories out there that we can say folks don't care about. But I did find, as I was pulling some stories off the wire, that had some kind of quirky notes in them. So I think I'm just going to share a few. I think if you've got a keen ear, you might notice something just a little quirky about each of these stories. Again, not necessarily stories that you wouldn't care about, but just kind of, did they really say that? So here's the first story in what we're calling quirky notes in the news. Founding member of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, says he won't run again. Senator Mitch McConnell, the longest-serving Senate party leader in U.S. history, has announced he will not seek re-election when his term ends in 2026. Speaking through translators, the 83-year-old Kentucky Republican, who has spent nearly 40 years in the Senate shaping conservative policy and blocking Democratic initiatives, delivered a farewell speech on the Senate floor with many colleagues, including several Democrats, gathering to listen. McConnell reflected on his tenure, calling his time representing Kentucky the honor of a lifetime, and stating that he would not seek an 8th term. His departure marks the end of an era in Republican leadership, having relinquished his role as GOP leader to Senator John Thune earlier this year. McConnell's legacy is deeply tied to reshaping the federal judiciary, particularly this U.S. Supreme Court. His strategic maneuvering, including blocking President Obama's 2016 Supreme Court nominee Merrick Garland, while later ensuring the confirmation of Trump appointees, cemented a conservative majority on the bench through a staunch partisan throughout his career. Though a staunch partisan, there's no R in that word, Jen. Though a staunch partisan throughout his career, McConnell has recently distanced himself from Trump, voting against some of his nominees. His emotional farewell saw colleagues such as Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski offering support, with McConnell jokingly calling them the new moderates. His retirement signals a shift in Republican leadership as the party navigates its future beyond his decades-long influence. Story number 2 in quirky notes in the news. Trump promises to send you $11. At an investment summit backed by Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, President Donald Trump suggested that savings from his government cost-cutting initiative led by Elon Musk could be partially returned to taxpayers and used to reduce the national deficit. Dubbed the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE as it's affectionately called, the effort has sparked controversy due to its aggressive budget cuts and layoffs, with critics warning of potential harm to government services. Trump floated the idea of a DOGE dividend, an initiative Musk has also promoted, which would return 20% of the savings to taxpayers and another 20% towards national debt reduction. However, actual savings so far appear to be far less than Trump and Musk claim, with current figures translating to only about $11 per taxpayer. Another potential hitch is that there's no one left at the IRS to tell them actually who to send the money to.
Right. And it's not really worth the paper that it's going to be printed on. So,
Well, during his speech, Trump reinforced his economic agenda, warning foreign businesses about incoming tariffs, signaling a 25% levy on lumber imports in addition to previously announced tariffs on semiconductors and pharmaceuticals. Let's see. When asked what they might do with their potential refund, KHTS co-owners Carl and Jerry Cerati Goldman stated that since they file separately, they'll actually be getting $22 and they're considering pooling their money and buying a dozen eggs.
Nice.
Yeah. Story number 3 in Quirky Notes in the News. This might actually have made it into the news that nobody cares about bucket, but the headline is, New Panda, Same Old Chicken. The newly renovated Panda Inn in Pasadena has reopened as a sleek, upscale dining destination, a stark contrast to its original, dimly lit interior founded in 1973 by Andrew Charing and his father, Ming Tsai Charing. The restaurant laid the foundation for Panda Express, now a global empire with over 2,600 locations. After a 2-year renovation, the Pasadena flagship now features multiple dining sections, private banquet rooms, a sushi bar, and a full-service cocktail bar offering drinks like yuzu lemon drops. While the ambiance is modern, the menu remains true to its roots, including orange chicken, a dish credited to a Panda Express chef in 1987. With its blend of nostalgia and contemporary elegance, the new Panda Inn continues to celebrate its pioneering role in American Chinese cuisine, drawing both longtime fans and new visitors.
That's cool. I didn't know it had an influence and birthed all of the more of the fast food.
Yeah.
Panda Express. That's cool.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that it existed.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's neat.
Story number 4 in Quirky Notes in the News. Beast mode can kill, doctors say. YouTuber megastar Mr. Beast. Do you know Mr. Beast?
Oh, I've heard of Mr. Beast.
Okay.
Yes, I have preteens in the house.
Alrighty. Mr. Beast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, recently revealed on the Diary of a CEO podcast that his immense success has come at the expense of his mental health. Also known as Captain Obvious, the 364 million subscriber content creator admitted that prioritizing his well-being would have likely made him less successful. Describing his life as hard mode, Donaldson shared the emotional toll of relentless work and overwhelming fame, including receiving thousands of messages urging him to harm himself.
Oh, jeez.
Right? People are weird. I think that goes beyond weird, though. He acknowledged the psychological burden of being constantly scrutinized, but accepted it as the price of success, stating, "This is the life I chose." Mental health professionals, by the way, caution that Donaldson's approach to work is a dangerous one, potentially leading to burnout and poor decision-making. Despite his outward success spanning YouTube dominance, a Prime Video show, and multiple business ventures, he has faced criticism for his leadership style and working conditions on projects like Beast Games. Experts warn that neglecting mental health for career ambitions can have long-term consequences, unlike those pesky but insignificant heart attacks, reinforcing concerns about the extreme pressures of internet fame. And finally,
I struggle with that, though. Like you kind of put yourself in that, and then now you have to, you reap the rewards, but also have to deal with the negative part of it. So
kudos to him for at least admitting it,
he
saying,
acknowledges
hey,
it. Yeah.
I chose this.
He can see what it is.
I chose this. And our final story on Quirky Notes in the News, Ukraine and U.S. meet over war with Russia. No comment. Let me back up and do that again. Ukraine and U.S. meet over war with Russia. No comment. A planned news conference between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and U.S. envoy Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg was unexpectedly canceled Thursday, deepening tensions between Ukraine and the U.S. over ending the war with Russia. Instead, the event was reduced to a photo opportunity with no statements or questions allowed. Reportedly, at the U.S. request, Kellogg's visit came amid a strained relationship between Zelensky and President Trump, raising concerns about continued U.S. support for the Ukraine. The two leaders were expected to discuss Trump's approach to ending the war, but details remain scarce. After the meeting, Zelensky described their talks as good, emphasizing security guarantees, prisoner exchanges, and long-term peace. He also expressed Ukraine's readiness for a security and investment agreement with the U.S. When asked for his comments, President Trump said, "Zelensky, Elon, didn't we fire that guy last week?" And now you are caught up with all the news that is quirky. And when we get back, we'll be talking homeschool like you've never seen it before. Oh, yes, you can. Stay tuned. I'm Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. We'll be right back on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. And, speaking of schools, there is a revolution taking place in public education these days. In our intro in hour number 1, we talk about keeping our eye on education in Santa Clarita and across the nation. There really is some tremendous stuff happening in the education space across the country. Parents and students alike have learned that they have a lot of options when it comes to not only where they go to school, but how they get their school. Families today understand the value of an alternative to the 6-hour brick-and-mortar school of old. Life is both busy and complex, and many families have started to explore virtual education, hybrid education, and independent study learning. And that's exactly the reason that iLead Exploration was created in 2015. Our expert, nimble educators help create the setting and set the table for the exact type of education that your child needs, regardless of their needs. Many of our families referred to iLead Exploration as a home study program, but I always get myself in trouble for saying that. So we'll have them come on and correct me right away. Joining me this morning from iLead Exploration Independent Home Study is Stephanie Binks, Lisa Rittenhouse, and Matt Hess. Stephanie, Lisa, Matt, welcome to Eye on the Valley.
Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having us.
That was beautiful harmony. I love that. So, Lisa, I always get myself in trouble, and it's because, folks like myself who never sent their kids to an independent study option don't really understand the difference. So, Lisa, can you help me fix my words? What is iLead Exploration? Is it independent study? Is it homeschool? And what's the difference?
Oh, thanks. Good question, Matt. We are in an independent study school. We are a public charter school. So we are a public school, and we do provide individualized learning. So there is that homeschooling feel, but you're actually in a structured school that works towards state standards and all of that. So unlike our homeschool friends who might do this independently on their own, we have the over teachers who can pour into them and who really provide a rigorous and valuable, meaningful experience in high school.
So that's an interesting phrase you used. So independent study is similar to home study, but you're not out there on your own. You've got the support, and y'all are supporting your learners and your families in incredible ways. Can we start by each of you telling us how you came to iLead? And I know you each serve a slightly different role. So how did you come to iLead, and what is your role now? How's it grown over the years?
Well, I can start. My name is Lisa Rittenhouse, and I'm the high school coordinator for the high school part of our program. And I have been here for 10 years. When we first started back in 2015, I was on that little team that started this brave venture, and it has grown from just a few hundred kids to about 3,500. So we've really expanded in those 10 years, but it's a privilege to be a part of this team.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Binks, and I have been at iLead for 6 years. I wear 3 hats this year. I am an educational facilitator for a few students, and so in that role, I oversee the independent studies of students, and I come alongside them, coach them, help them choose curriculum, make sure that they're working at an appropriate pace, and do a little grading. 3 years ago, we decided to pilot an online live high school learning experience, which we have now called Engage. And so I started teaching English 10 in that setting, and I am continuing to do that, though we've grown our program a lot. And so this year I'm also serving as a lead teacher for our high school Engage program, which offers live and asynchronous classes to high school students.
And what about you, Matt?
Well, I'm currently an Engage high school teacher as well. I teach all the history classes for the high school Engage program, and I came into iLead Exploration as an educational facilitator at first. So I worked with a small group of kids as kind of overseeing them and building relationships with them and their families and helping them connect with curriculum and stay on pace. And now I'm teaching full-time in the high school program, and I actually came to iLead through a Facebook post, kind of by accident.
Oh, wow.
I found somebody within iLead was in a jobs board saying, hey, does anybody have a teaching credential? And I was getting back into teaching after working full-time on my own business. But, sure, I've got a credential. And a week later, I was hired. So it all happened very, very quickly, and I'm glad it did. It's been a wonderful experience.
Well, we're glad you joined us as well. Let me throw this out, and I'll let whichever of you decides to answer. I talk about how iLead Exploration is very different, very innovative, very unique. What makes iLead Exploration unique from other schools?
Well, I'd like to start on that. What I love about iLead is that in this independent study program is that we get to work with a wide range of learners, learners who didn't fit into the regular public school mold, and learners who have very specific goals for college and want to take dual concurrent enrollment. So I really love this experience because we're able to personalize it for each learner who comes to our program and really help them meet their future goals, whether it's college or career.
Yeah, so it's entirely customizable. Families are learning the value of an individualized learning program, and y'all are able to do that so easily. So what about the difference between some families may really understand what homeschooling is and understand what a PSA is, where they're kind of filing their own document to do school, as you mentioned, Lisa, on their own. How is an independent study education through a charter school different from filing a PSA and doing school on their own?
Well, there is accountability, which is wonderful for families who would like to have that teacher support to come alongside them and to make sure they're staying on task and getting through all of the things that they need to get through. That academic support expands to our academic counselors, our college advisor. We have a wide range of curriculum options. But the lovely part for those who enroll in a charter school is that they do have instructional funds to help support their learning, those learning options. If they pick a certain curriculum or a class that they want to attend, we can appropriate on their behalf those funds to pay for those classes. So that's a really big advantage. Another advantage is that they get all of the pluses, the fun opportunities in clubs and ASB and NHS and prom and grad night and those special things that are on the side that you wouldn't typically have if you were totally isolated in your own filing your own PSA.
Yeah, and that it's funny. In just about 2 or 3 phrases, you really busted a lot of myths about what an independent study or a home study program can be. I know your kids are involved in a lot of different socialization opportunities. I saw online not long ago your high schoolers were meeting up at In-N-Out on a Friday night, and uh, y'all are doing amazing things through this independent study space. But y'all are also, you continue to create. I love that you don't ever stand still, and you're constantly asking yourselves, what's next? What else can we do? You've mentioned it already. Y'all have started this High School Engage program. What can you tell us about High School Engage?
So, as Stephanie mentioned, a couple of years ago, we started this program because in independent study, our program in the past, it offers a lot of flexibility, lots of course options, and sometimes we partner with learning centers or online providers like iLead Online.
Okay.
But a couple of years ago, we decided we really wanted to expand that to include an in-house option for live instruction from credentialed teachers who can provide feedback and interact with the learners. So that's when Engage was born. We didn't call it that at the time because we weren't exactly sure how it was going to develop, but we piloted English and world history then, and then the next year it expanded and we brought on Matt, and we added more history. We added 2 levels of English and U.S. and world history and Algebra 1. And we thought, okay, this program is something, it's meeting a need. But we realized that there were a lot more needs out there, and we wanted to expand that to provide more opportunities. So we jumped this year to 20 different classes.
Wow.
In the core subject. Yeah, it just was a big venture, big risk.
Uh-huh.
We weren't sure how it was going to, because before we'd had about 55 learners who were participating in that. And so this year we jumped and we provided all of those options, and families ate it up. They loved it. They were so excited to jump into this program that we had almost 300 kids taking over 650 classes this year. So those classes, they can sign up for multiple classes, and using those instructional funds that they have covers those classes. So that has been just a big change to our program, and I don't see going back. I think that this Engage program is one of the best things that Exploration offers.
That is awesome. So these are independent study learners. They can sign up for the full battery of live high school classes virtually, or can they sign up for just 1 or 2 classes if they want?
Absolutely.
Fantastic, fantastic. So we don't have time to go through, all 50, 55 of them, but what are some of the classes that you are currently offering?
Well, we're offering all the history classes. Matt is here, and he can talk to that. We offer the English classes, all 10th, 11th, 12th grade English.
Okay.
We have pre-algebra, algebra, geometry, Spanish, chemistry, and biology. And we also have a special grant using the art Prop 28 money so that we hired an art teacher, and she teaches 5 different art classes.
Fantastic. Yeah, I can imagine not doing a live class for Spanish or for art can be challenging. I love that you're offering those in addition to all of the other courses that you're offering. So tell me what it looks like. I'm a student in independent study. My parents thought they wanted something that looked like a homeschool, so they're getting support. But now I'm in the High School Engage program. What does my day look like? What do my studies look like?
So we have 2 options for students who are in Engage. And I'll talk about the first one, which is our live program. And so in this program, students will meet via Zoom for 2 live lessons a week. And during that time, we're able to have discussions, to practice critically thinking, talking with each other, and really building relationships within the class, which has ended up being the absolute best part about it is our students, most of them are taking multiple classes, so they see each other several times a week, and they've really started to connect with each other, build strong bonds with their peers, which of course means when they come back to our classes, we have relationships and we have a lot of trust in the classroom. And so it's hilarious. The students are definitely the best part. We laugh a lot, and we really dive deep into the material. So that's the live component. Students will be meeting with us 2 times a week to work on assignments together, but then they will also be assigned 3 days of independent studies work that they get done on their own at home. And then Matt, you can tell them about the Flex program.
Absolutely. The Flex program offers all of the rigor and all of the engaging material that you get from the live class, but for students who need that kind of flexibility, instead of going to the live class, they're able to do that work asynchronously at home on their own time. So they're still getting the kind of the strength of the high school experience, but they're able to do it with the flexibility of, well,
Did we lose you, Matt?
I don't think so.
Oh, there we are.
Right here.
Okay, so they can do it with all the flexibility of what?
Of the Flex program.
Oh, I see. Well, fantastic. Very exciting, very innovative. Stephanie Binks, Matt Hess, and Lisa Rittenhouse from iLead Exploration joined me this morning. We're talking about this amazing new program that they're offering high schoolers called High School Engage, taking independent study students and getting them connected with each other and deeply engaged in a rigorous academic program, all through an independent study program in a free virtual charter. They're offering it through their free independent study charter. Don't call it homeschool. It's independent study, free public charter school. When we get back, I'm going to drill down a little bit so that you can hear some more details of the program and get an understanding of what it's really like. I'm Matt Watson. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley, and you're listening to your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I'm joined this morning by Stephanie Binks, Matt Hess, and Lisa Rittenhouse from iLead Exploration. That is our TK through 12th grade independent study program, or the free educational format formerly known as homeschool. Through that program, I'm having trouble with my throughs and my those today. Through that program, they are offering something called High School Engage to their high schoolers, and it's becoming wildly popular. It sounds like it's absolutely exploding. Stephanie, let me start with you on this one. What's your favorite thing about teaching Engage? What's your favorite part about teaching the Engage program?
Sure. So I loved being an educational facilitator, but in that role, I didn't actually do a lot of teaching. It was more tutoring, working one-on-one with students, advising. I am a teacher at heart. I'm an English teacher. My passion is sharing my subject with students. And so when there was an opportunity to return to teaching, I jumped at it. And so I think that my favorite part is definitely interacting with the students, sharing my love of everything we're reading, watching them discover that the Odyssey or A Doll's House can be thought-provoking and something that we can really do and think about together. So it's been a great experience. Hands down, our students are amazing. They're unique. They have thoughts. I always tell them they hear a lot of negative about what it's like to be a teen these days, but I would say that they debunk that myth because they're an amazing group of students, and it's been a true delight.
That's so cool. What about you, Matt? What's your favorite part about teaching High School Engage?
You know, I really feel like it's the relationships that I'm able to build with the students. You get such an opportunity to connect with them through the Engage program. When I was teaching brick and mortar, I had 240 kids a day passing through my room, and it was just me trying to balance everything. With Engage, with the online format, with some of the students being in Flex, you're able to work with each kid as an individual and see them and connect with them as an individual and help them overcome individual challenges and meet individual needs. And I think that that's really exciting because the reason that I got into teaching was so that I could help kids affect change in their lives. And I'm really able to do that in the program.
That is beautiful. So you've got this program where kids are meeting twice a week in their classes, and then they're doing independent study the other 3 days a week. You've also set it up, because families oftentimes join your program because they're busy, because they're on set or wonky schedules. You've got the flex program, so working out a time to be involved in the high school engaged program isn't an issue. But let's talk about assessment for a minute, because that is always something that comes into a public school like we are. That is test taking. At our site-based schools, iLead's assessment is more than simply taking a test and getting the answers right. But what does assessment look like for the engaged students at iLead Exploration?
Let me go ahead and field this one. We kind of take a multi-pronged approach to assessment, right? Like you said, It's not just testing. All of our students have EFs, educational facilitators, and they handle a lot of the state testing that students take, and any kind of like interim assessments, and your standard multiple choice online tests that you find in educational institutions to make sure that kids are making progress. And when we need students to take those, that gets done typically there. But in the Engage program, we're able to offer ongoing kind of authentic assessment in the form of discussion and debate, mastery, project-based learning, reflective activities. And so we can really encourage learners to go beyond the book and dig deep into the material, and that gives us real insights, not only into who they are or how they are as students, but who they are as students. And I think that's really lovely.
Yeah, I love that, Matt. It's that individualized learning through authentic assessment, true assessment. You really get to know your learners and what their progress looks like. So what does this process look like within your program? So I know the process because I'm promoting it here every Friday on the radio. If you want to enroll at iLead Exploration, you go to iLeadExploration.org and click on the enrollment button. But once you get in, how do you get involved with the Engage program? So how do they enroll in one of the classes? What's the process?
I can answer that question. So as was mentioned, whenever a learner enrolls, they are assigned an educational facilitator. So when school starts, actually in August, when learners are assigned their educational facilitator, they will have a relationship with that facilitator, and that facilitator will walk them through their curriculum choice options, the class options that they're going to take. And at that time, they can say, hey, I want to sign up for Engage, and we sign them up right away. So, that's completely open to them. They can take one class. They can take up to 4 or 5 classes. It's really up to the learner.
Okay, and you mentioned before that as part of being a free public school program, your families have access to educational funds. Do they are they choosing to spend some of their funds on these classes, or are these completely free?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. So high school learners come to our school, and they have $3,800 that are available to them in instructional funds, and they can appropriate those funds for classes. So the education teacher, if they say, hey, I want to sign up for Engage, and our Engage class costs $350 per semester, then they will go ahead and place an order for those classes in our system so that it covers the cost of those classes. So to the learner, they're free,
right?
But those funds are appropriated for those classes.
And they would use that rather than buying a textbook or an online class or something like that. It's just the option that they choose for that course or those courses.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and there might be some materials involved that would be on top of the cost of the course.
Okay.
But they'll learn that they can use instructional funds for those as well, and the place that order if it's an Amazon or through an art shop for art.
Okay.
And that way, those materials will be sent directly to their house, and and they can start the year off right.
Okay, so Matt, Stephanie, let's talk about some of the projects or the assignments that your learners are working on, because I know you work, it's called High School Engage, so it can't be boring, right? So Matt, let's start with you. What are some of the projects that you've had your learners working on in your classes this year?
Oh, we've had a really good time this year. And last, we've had some really fun projects. So my civics kids last semester, because seniors do a semester of U.S. government and then they do a semester of economics. And in the U.S. government class, they did a deep dive on their own local congressional races. And they got to analyze, the candidates, their messages, their media and advertisements, their positions on the issues, and kind of determine what they thought was like in the election, who they felt most connected with. And they, it didn't have to be their local one if it wasn't particularly flashy. They could pick another one in the state. And so that was really fun. This semester, they're going to be building small business plans in economics and competing against each other, Shark Tank style.
Nice.
To see which have the most creative and unique approaches. In history, we do oral history interviews with relatives and community members. We do historical site visits. We build digital museum exhibitions. There's so much going on beyond just your standard, like, do the assignment, write the paper,
right? Exactly.
Do the discussion board. Like, we find ways to help make the material relevant and help kids connect with it in ways that are authentic and exciting and interesting, and we hope we'll stick with them for a long time.
Yeah, that's the idea. It is High School Engage through iLead Exploration, your free public charter school independent study program. Stephanie, what about you? What are some of your favorite projects that you've been working on with your learners?
Sure. So this year in 10th grade, we've really been looking at how writing and our voices have the power to change the status quo. And so whenever we're reading and we're thinking and we're talking together, we're just looking at how writers have power. So we ended first semester by creating a digital student magazine for our class. And the students all voted, and they ended up naming our magazine Voices of the Future, A Changing World. And then they were tasked with writing a problem solution article. So we took a look at how a problem article looks in various magazines like Times and Newsweek, and talked about strategies that students could use as writers to craft these articles. And then they wrote them and published them. And I was blown away with how powerful they turned out. And again, just how amazing our students are as thinkers. But beyond that, they also had to take the next step and be a solution seeker as well. And they couldn't just complain and say, here's the issue, but they had to come up with solutions. Just to give you an idea, some of the topics, we had an article about the pink tax, which is how products marketed to women are more expensive. A student wrote about the excessive waste in the fashion industry, which was mind-blowing to me. I had no idea how wasteful it is. There was an amazing article written by a teenager about social media addiction, and his solutions were incredibly interesting. I'm not sure he's going to take his own advice, but it was great to see that students are thinking about it. And his article sparked such a great conversation because they're all very aware of how social media can be damaging. So I love to see how our students are thinking and what their concerns are. And it turned out to be something that they all wanted to go in and read what each other had to say.
That is incredible. No wonder your guys' rosters are just absolutely exploding. This sounds like so much fun, especially for families that are choosing the independent study path. What a refreshing change and so exciting. Now, I understand that it's so popular that next year you're expanding the program to middle school, right? What's that going to look like? How's that going to be similar? How's that going to be different?
Well, I'm excited particularly about this because by the time our kids get to high school, we see that, hey, I think we need to really hone in on some of these writing skills or these math skills, and we want to back it up. We want to make sure that they feel supported and they are ready to jump into high school and to thrive. So backing it up to 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, that's our projection. That's our plan. We're working through the logistics of that now, but we're looking at language arts and math in middle school. That's where we're going to start. That's the plan anyway.
Fantastic. I love that you're expanding that, and I can't wait for another 4 or 5 years to see kids who have gone through the middle school program, are now in the high school program, the things that they're doing, the ways that they're thinking. So I've got a question for you. You guys are providing independent study in a way that offers so many different options, kind of regardless of what the child's needs are. You have something that will help them thrive and grow with a rigorous education. TK through 12th grade, again, can't emphasize that enough. Trick question for you. What's the tuition at iLead Exploration?
Yeah, that's an easy one. It's free. This is a public school, and there's no tuition. We provide instructional funds for the classes that they are taking in the curriculum and the materials, but as far as the families are concerned, this is free education.
It is a free public school, free public charter school, no tuition involved. When families sign up, they get assigned a credentialed teacher, and then they get allocated, like you said, instructional funds to help purchase their child's curriculum, whether it's a textbook, whether it's a microscope, whether it's an online class, or the high school and soon to be middle school Engage program at iLead Exploration. So if it's free, I can imagine folks are beating down your door. How do people enroll, Lisa?
Well, we have iLeadExploration.org, and they can go to our webpage. They can learn more about our school on the public webpage, and they can click enrollment and enroll now. Now is the time to go ahead and enroll for fall. We don't want to wait. We have a lottery coming up for fall, and so we want to make sure that everybody is able to get into that lottery. We have applications will close on March 28th. Okay. But if people want to enroll, now is the time to jump in and enroll for fall and to get a space.
So you're taking applications for fall enrollment now. What about somebody that's like super excited, they're hyped and want to move over now? Are you still taking applications for the 2025 or 24-25 school year?
We are. That window is closing quickly.
Okay.
but we are. There is an opportunity still, a small window to enroll if they want to enroll this year too.
Okay, so if you want to enroll now, you've got a few minutes left. If you're looking to enroll for next fall for the 2025-2026 school year, you got to get your application in now, and that is at the website iLeadExploration.org. iLeadExploration.org. You can click on info to get more information. You can sign up for, they have virtual open house nights, I know, and then you can also, again, fill out the application. Stephanie, Lisa, Matt, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I really appreciate it. High School Engage at iLead Exploration, all part of our free TK through 12 public charter school. Once again, Lisa, Matt, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
It's been a pleasure.
All righty. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You take care.
Bye-bye.
When we get back, watch your top knot, because my big brother's coming in, and you never can tell what he's bringing with him. I am Matt Watson. Big T's coming by soon. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson. But who cares about me? Because now it is time for Big T's 5 Minutes of Fame. Y'all know Big T. He is an executive and philanthropist. He's an amazing father, husband, and dog dad. And he's an all-around great guy. And For those of you watching on the Facebook Live feed, you understand why Jen's giggling a little bit. Here he is, everybody. He's Mom's favorite, Big T. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Maddie. You're having trouble reading all your takes this morning.
No, just the word though and through.
Though and through. Those are tough. Why are those so similar? I didn't have a hard time reading your titles, though. Executive and philanthropist. Amazing. Can you hear the air quotes?
Those are big air quotes, yeah.
Gotcha. Are you still working for that charter school?
Yes. Yes, I'm working for those charter schools.
Gotcha.
SCVi and iLead Schools, friends, your free public charter schools. TK through 12, go to iLeadSchools.org for more information on virtual, hybrid, and classroom-based education, all free. TK through 12. Hey, Big T.
Perfect. Thank you. Are we ready?
I think so. We got Engineer Andrew in the house.
Good morning.
Engineer Jen has been here all morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, so I wanted to follow up. Got a lot of chatter from the listeners this past week about Big T's Valentine tips from last week. Hopefully it resonated. Andrew, what did you do for Valentine's Day?
I hung out with my mother, as I do every year.
Outstanding.
He was listening to Big T's advice last week.
Oh, wait, is that you hung out with your
yeah,
mother?
it is.
Okay.
He hung out with his mother on Valentine's Day, so I'm sure he needed to take that one special someone out either on Thursday or Wednesday or Saturday or Sunday.
He's not telling
my
you
God.
guys
Because-
anything anyway.
right?
I don't blame him.
So some of the listeners in the chatter they wanted to hear some more tips from Big T. So
Did they?
Oh,
you
yeah.
got your news that nobody cares about. So we'll continue with some tips. You know, we've been getting a lot of snow up here, Frogger. So Big T's had to learn to not only live in the snow but also drive in the snow.
Hey, Tony, where is that snow, by the way?
It's not here anymore. It's gone.
Oh, okay.
But it was right over there.
Oh, all right, thanks.
But some tips that I learned, Matt.
Yeah.
Don't make snow angels at the dog park.
All right. Okay. That's a good tip, Tony.
It's a lot of hair,
A couple of other tips. If you see a toilet in your dreams, don't use it.
These are all things that life has taught you, huh?
Yes.
And you're
that's what I
passing
learned.
along
And,
the
you know,
wisdom.
No matter how nice the hand soap smells, don't leave the restroom smelling your fingers.
These are all bathroom related so far,
well,
I've noticed. Yeah. We have a theme, huh, Tony?
That's kind of Tony's wheelhouse, yeah.
You know how Big T rolls. He's always got his theme.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I appreciate
You got any fart
it.
jokes for us this morning, Tony?
Yeah.
No fart jokes.
Okay.
I do have a fun fact, though, Frogger. So
All right.
in 1979, the Chinese government brought together the two tallest professional male and female basketball players together. Zhao Xinghang and Feng Di were brought together and required to marry. They were then encouraged to have a child. That child was born about the size of a 3-year-old.
Holy
And he grew up and he
mackerel.
was trained and put on a specific diet that included hormone treatments.
Oh, jeez.
That child did grow up tall and went on to play basketball.
Yao
and
Ming.
you know
That's-
him as 7'6" Yao Ming.
That's what I
Your
was
boy
thinking.
was
Wow.
He's a creation of science.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Isn't that
Are his
amazing?
parents still married?
They were not available for comment.
Okay. That information is not germane to this segment of the show, huh?
I reached out and I was hopeful that they didn't have any comment because Big T would have been in trouble.
Right, right.
So, all right, we ready for some trivia?
Yeah, we're always ready. We stay ready so we don't have to get ready. You know what I'm saying?
Perfect. All righty. So 45 years ago tomorrow, on February 22nd, 1980, was the Miracle on Ice. In those 1980
Yes.
Winter Olympics, who did Team USA beat for the gold medal?
Frogger.
Frogger.
I think it was Sweden.
Incorrect.
Dang it.
Jen,
Andrew.
Ben?
was it Russia?
Incorrect. That's who they
No.
beat in the semifinal
Okay.
match.
Oh.
That was the Miracle
right,
on Ice.
yeah. Right.
That was the semifinal match.
Oh, okay.
To get to the gold medal match, they beat Russia. So they had this huge, incredible win,
I always thought that was the gold medal.
but no, they still had to
Yeah.
play one more game.
Go Finland.
Finland is correct.
Bam!
Whoa, good guess.
In that semifinal game against Russia, who scored the go-ahead and eventual winning goal?
Yao Ming. I have no idea.
That is nice.
I like it. I like it.
It was Mike Ruzzoni.
Mazzaroni. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. Where were those 1980 Winter Olympics played?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Lake Placid.
Lake Placid, New York. In the movie Miracle, who played U.S. hockey coach Herb Brooks?
Andrew. Ooh,
Oh.
my gosh.
Andrew.
Quick on the buzzer. Come on. Come on. Who was
What
it?
is his
got it.
name?
Who was it?
Oh, my. Nope. God,
You
I
got
forgot
it.
his name.
Frogger. Frogger.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kurt Russell.
Oh, my God. I listened to the speech yesterday.
You there, Tony?
Oh.
It was Kurt Russell. Say I'm right.
Oh.
Say I'm right. We lost Big T.
We lost him. But actually, they played the Four Nations yesterday. It was the USA versus Canada, and they played part of the speech.
Oh, did they?
Mixed in with the actual team in the locker room. It was inspiring. I wanted to lace up my skates.
In the U.S. locker room, they played the actual
Yeah, so
speech?
it was no. So they mixed.
Or they played it on
in-
TV?
Yeah, they played it on
Okay.
TV, and it looked like he was talking to the team that was actually playing.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty awesome. Their promo that they did.
Okay. Yeah, that speech was absolutely incredible.
It was awesome.
And for those not as familiar with the sport's history, at the time, the Olympics was exclusively for amateur athletes. And so we were sending the best college hockey players and the best college athletes or otherwise amateur athletes from around the United States. But the USSR, East Germany, a lot of other teams, China, a lot of other countries, while they weren't technically professional because they didn't compete in professional leagues, their athletes were truly the best and
yeah.
brightest, and the government was paying them to play and train all year long. So it was our best college athletes against the best athletes, period, from around the world. And the USSR, Russia, was considered to have the greatest hockey team ever assembled. And the U.S. had
dominant.
some
No
young...
chance.
Literally no
No
chance.
chance.
No chance. And they beat them in one of the most incredible... Forget the fact that the USA won against impossible odds. It was a great game. If you love competition, it was a fantastic
It was. And go
game.
rewatch that movie. It is fantastic.
Miracle, yeah. We got Big T back?
I hope we got him back.
All righty, Big T. So I said Kurt Russell, and I gave myself the point because I know I'm right.
No.
Big T. No good. So,
Call the
Big
main
T,
line.
if you're listening,
Call the
call
main
back.
line.
Yeah, okay. Call the main line.
But actually, the game yesterday
Yeah.
was fantastic. If you missed it, it was the Four Nations. It was an in-season tournament. USA, Canada, Finland, and I believe it was Sweden.
All right, there we
Oh,
go.
there we go. Big T is back. We were talking about, I know I was right with Kurt Russell, and then we were talking about the Four Nations tournament that you and I actually watched last night. We were texting each other.
Yeah, I didn't know if you sent Big T into the penalty box or if
bet.
the ghost of the morning show passed.
I know you dropped out all of a sudden.
Okay, so let's talk about that, Tony. Let's talk about that. You and I are big sports fans, and this is something that I've always found absolutely incredible. In professional baseball, you get in a fight. What's your punishment?
You're ejected.
You're ejected. You're suspended, usually, depending on how many incidents you've had, sometimes up to 3 or 5 games. Professional football, even though the guy that you're punching is wearing a helmet, which I've never understood, and chest plate, shoulder pads, you get in a fight in the NFL, what happens?
You're ejected.
You're ejected, fined, suspension. NBA, professional basketball, now you got no pads, nothing. You get in a fight, what happens?
You Rudy Tomjanovich.
Yeah, oh yeah. You're kicked out of the game. You're fined. You're usually suspended first incident for up to a week. In hockey, you get in a fight. You knock somebody's teeth out. You grab their sweater, hit them in the face 19 times, knock their teeth out. What's the punishment?
2 minutes in the penalty box.
It's actually 5 for fighting.
5 for fighting.
You get a
Oh, yeah.
5-minute timeout. Yeah. All right, T. We got time for about 3 or 4 more questions.
Perfect. Hey, notable about that 1980s gold medal win, that was the last time that the U.S. men's hockey team won the gold medal.
Oh, even though we're sending our pros now. Crazy.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
All right, we got Frogger
cartoon
with 2
trivia-
points,
cartoon
Andrew with
trivia.
1.
All right, cartoon trivia. Who's the arch enemy of Bugs Bunny?
Jen.
Jen, go.
Wile E. Coyote.
Oh,
Andrew.
No?
Incorrect, Andrew.
Oh,
Yosemite Sam. No.
Oh, Frogger. Frogger.
Correct.
wait a minute.
They're killing me. It's Elmo Fudd.
The wrong guy with the gun.
Oh, the guy with the weapon. Yeah.
The guy with the weapon, yes.
Wrong one.
Also known as Elmer J. Fudd.
Oh, Andrew, we screwed
What's
up.
the name of Popeye's girlfriend?
Jen. Olive oil.
Woohoo.
Nice pull. What is the name of Fred Flintstone's best friend's wife?
Frogger.
Oh, Andrew.
Frogger.
Betty Rubble.
Betty Rubble's correct.
She a cutie patootie.
In The Lion King, what is Simba's father's name?
Andrew. Mufasa.
Andrew. Ooh, say it again. What is the name of Ariel's crab friend in The Little Mermaid?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Sebastian.
Sebastian is correct.
We got time for one more, big
Who's
guy.
the villain in All right, who's the villain in Beauty and the Beast?
Jen.
Oh, I was going to say Beast.
Jen.
Gaston.
Gaston is correct. Nice pull, Jen.
There we go. Well done. I still beat you both. You two tied with 2. I had 5. Big T, thanks for swinging by, buddy. We got to wrap it up. We also want to thank our guest, Gloria Mercardo-Fortine, with the Santa Clarita Valley Man and Woman of the Year honors. Stephanie Binks, Matt Hess, and Lisa Rittenhouse with iLead Exploration. Check them out at iLeadExploration.org. Fill out your application for next school year. Producer Sarah, thank you very much. Engineer Andrew, Engineer Jen, and thank you for listening. Remember, friends, life is hard, but we're all here to help each other along. Be well and do good. And, hey, join us again next week and every Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. I am Matt Watson, and this is SCVi and iLead Schools' Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.